Today at F&G Whiskey, we review a Midwinter's Night Dram. Excited to try this one. Hey guys, we got a hitter for you today. We're gonna do the Midwinter's Night Dram. This is the Act 10. This one's Scene 3. Coming in at 98.6, distilled at High West Distillery and MGP. Let's see, no age statement. It's a blend of 2 ryes. Coming in at 150 MSRP. So that's the question we have. Is this as good as the old offering? I've got an Act 7 here that we're going to compare it to. This used to be a $100 bottle. So now paying the amount that, that they've increased it to, is it worth the chase? Is it worth the hunt? Personally, I don't know. We'll get into it. We'll see. I've had a few drinks out of this. I think I've said this before. I hate to do fresh cracks, me personally. I hate neck pours. I don't know why, I just do. I always notice a difference, and I just do not like neck pours. There's a few times where I've had a bourbon that was good on the neck pour, and then it got great. But I've never had a bourbon that stayed consistent throughout. And maybe that's just me, I don't know. But yeah, that's how I feel about it. So let's get to the review here. If you're new to the channel, what I like to do is I like to go to these reviews, see if I find the same notes, and kind of go from there. So light raspberry mingled with red wine up front, vanilla custard, caramel, baking spices, adding a blanket of sweet aromas. So rye spice jumps out of the glass to me. I do get a little bit of that red wine. Actually, I feel like the red wine's kind of overpowering the nose. The rye spice jumped out at first, but now it's kind of taming down. I feel like I'm sniffing my wife's wine. I get a little hint of mint in there. So yeah, let's go to the palate and see what they get. Where the nose lacks in rich intensity, the palate makes up for it in waves. Fig jam, raspberry pie filling, and creme brulee manifest within the welcomed intensity. Let's check it out. Wow, I don't know what to say about that. So I also read that they say that there's a complement of baking spices and a touch of leather. They say that it's far less obvious wine forward than some of the previous versions. Well, I'll say when I had this in the past, I actually felt like this one was overfinished compared to my previous one. So let's go into this and try to dissect it some more. I don't know, maybe I should have cleansed the palate a little bit. I've had other pours before this. So I do get raspberry. I don't know about the pie feeling. Honestly, I get a lot of wine on this. Almost to the point where I might force my wife to try this. I get a ton of oak, which I don't remember getting on some of the past offerings. So this one to me, I don't know if you would say overfinished, but the wine is definitely more powering than the rye. I do get that rye spice more lingering towards mid to back palate. So on the finish, it says a combination of dark fruits, spice flavors on the palate provides a recipe for a really good finish. Raspberry jam, cherry, rye spice transition into sugar plum, dry leather on the back end. It's quite good. I am noticing that it is staying with me. So there is a long finish for a 98 proofer. I really am excited to try it versus this 7, because I feel like when I tried the 7 was my first one. I waited like a year to open it because I wanted to open it on Christmas Eve. And I was really impressed. I mean, as you can see, the bottle's almost gone. I probably should just kill it because it's probably getting a lot of condensation. So let's see what we get on the finish. It definitely tells you it's a rye on the finish. The rye really just lingers with you on the back end. Rye and then that hint of wine. So it's not a very complex bourbon because you're kind of getting the wine and the rye throughout. Let's compare it to 7. The 7 is way more delicate. There is not nearly the wine influence. You get more of that rye, and you get other characteristics of the rye. The finish is a lot more charred oak than the 10. It's a really weird comparison because on the 7, and I don't know if it's just because it's drank down so low, I'm not getting near the wine influence. And I remember getting more wine on it. You do get that sweetness at the front of the palate though. It's just not nearly, it's like, I don't know if you would say over finished, but it's definitely got more wine characters than the 7. I don't even know if I could pick a winner because it really depends on what your mood is. They're both very, very good. Do I like the 7 at 100 price point? Definitely. Do I like the 10 at 150 price point? I mean, come on. I understand inflation. I understand you got to make a buck, but when you're selling as much as they are, when you have lines down the street at High West for 4 days to get these bottles, I think you could have just raised it $10, $25 and been fine. But, you know, to each their own. Is this a recommend? If you like finished ryes, I recommend it. There's other finished ryes out there in that 70 to 80 price point that you're probably going to enjoy more. Unfortunately, this bottle just commands a lot of, you know, a lot of want. The one thing I will say is that I've noticed on secondary, they've went down drastically. In the past, 220, 240, some people are selling them as low as 180. So you can get it at a decent price point if you have to have a bottle. So yeah, like, comment, subscribe. Looking to build that whiskey community, and